first came to Evansville in 2008, and when I arrived here in this community, it really was kind of the culmination of a downward spiral for me that started about 4 years back in 2004. And at that time, my mother had passed away from leukemia. I really didn't know how to handle the grief and the loss that I felt. I just turned to drinking to kind of help me deal with some of those issues, and eventually it took over, and my life became very dysfunctional in a lot of ways. So as my issues continued to grow, I ultimately made a decision to leave my home in Southern California and head toward the Midwest. I just wanted to start over. I was in Kansas City, Missouri for a while and lived in a hotel, was trying to find work out there and just wasn't able to catch on anywhere. And of course, I hadn't dealt with my drinking problem. So life continued to get worse for me, and it was out there that I met and got into a relationship with a lady out there who was actually from Evansville. I decided to come here to Evansville, but really I just brought with me all of the problems that I had drug all the way across the country. That situation just continued to go from bad to worse over time. One night I decided that I was going to leave that situation before it got any worse, and it was at that time that I effectively became homeless. You know, it took me a couple of days just to even get into the rescue mission because I had so much alcohol in my system that I wasn't able to pass a breathalyzer test. And so eventually when I did get in there, I think I was there for about 24 hours before I ended up passing out because I was suffering from acute alcohol withdrawal and ended up spending several days in the hospital because of that. So it was while I was staying at the homeless shelter that I found out about a program that they were running at the Evansville Christian Life Center. It was an anti-poverty program called Circles. And so I decided to go check it out. I came one evening and listened to everything that they were saying about the program, and it sounded very different than anything I'd ever heard before. So I decided to give it a shot. And they called me in for an interview to be a part of the program, and one of the gentlemen I met there happened to be an employer himself, and fortunately for me it had led to a job, and that was really kind of the beginning of me moving forward. I was beginning to go to Circles on Thursday evenings. I was building relationships with folks who were in similar situations as I was in, and I was able to move from the shelter into a transitional housing apartment, and then eventually to my own apartment. All the while, just the things that I was learning in the program, the relationships I was building, the resources I was coming into contact with were integral in helping me to get where I needed to be. So it was a couple of years after that, being involved in the program, that I had an opportunity to take a job with the Christian Life Center and to become the coordinator for this anti-poverty initiative. It was then that I realized that my life had undeniably been changed by my experiences as a homeless person in this community, and I decided to take the job and begin working with folks who were in situations just like I was.